Hey, howdy, hey! Welcome back to Home Insteading. Today, we're going to be putting some grout down for all that tile that we laid with the 1/8 spacers. So, get your knee pads ready and please try this at home. I'm not a professional, but I got some good advice from one of our church friends who has done this before, and he shared some wonderful tips that I will be happy to share with you. I'm not an expert, but I will give it a go, and I think that you should too. So, get those knee pads out, warm up your knees for some high quality grouting action that's going to be happening here. You can do this, I know it. We're going to be doing the grout in the mud room. So we got some wood looking planks there and some gray grout, and it's not as bad as everyone makes it out to be. So let's take a look at the grout that we're using today. And there are things that you're going to need for this project. Some grout, 3 buckets, a small trowel, a grout float, water, and 3 sponges. Now I'm going to ask you to mix all the bags of grout that you think you might use in one bucket so that the colors mix all together. Then you take out only what you need of the powder and put it in a second bucket and mix it with water to the consistency of pudding. And then you plop down your grout and you go to it. All right, so what you're going to see is me taking that grout float and I'm dragging the grout into each groove between the tile. And I'm kind of pushing it down in there so that it fills it all the way. I'm looking for any kind of, if there's dirt that might have mixed in or any holes, air bubbles or anything like that. I want to make sure you get those done and out of the way. Make sure you get into all the nooks and crannies. You definitely don't want to leave any spaces where the edge of the tile might be exposed. You want that grout to fill it all the way up so it's nice and smooth when you go to walk on it later on. And here you see me continuing to do the sample area. I'm pushing it in and grabbing some new piles and pulling them in where they need to go. You don't really have to push hard. It's just a matter of sliding the grout and having enough. Just take your time and make sure that you get it done. And you're going to only really do the area in which you can reach while on your knees so that you don't overextend and end up putting your knees in the goop. I did about 5 rows at a time. Here we go. We're going to change directions now to make sure that every part of the grout is pushed in to all the angles. You're going to go 45 degrees the opposite direction. And the reason you're going 45 degrees is if you go parallel to the grout line, you'll actually scoop out some of the grout that you're wanting to stay in there and set. I found that out the hard way in the bathroom. So make sure that you always go 45 degrees, and that second time in the different direction, pull up your excess. And this is what it looked like afterwards. 15 minutes later, it set the grout so that it wouldn't be as easy for me to wipe it out with the sponge. Now it's time to clean it up. We've got sponges and clean water. We're going to Get all 3 of the sponges, which I highly recommend having 3. Wring out all the excess moisture that you can. Now when you start wiping, the grout that's dried on there will come up. You just have to take your time. Here we go with the 45 degrees again, making sure we don't scoop out that grout. We want it to stay where it is. One swipe and then flip it over so that you're using a clean sponge each time. That is the ticket. Next sponge, drag it super slow. That way it moistens the dried grout. Flip it over, and then the second time it'll remove the gritty part of the grout, so it looks much cleaner. Then toss that bad boy right into the water bucket. And this is my third and final sponge. Take your time. Definitely don't want to scrub it out of all that hard work you did putting it into all the crevices. And here we have it done. We continued working in the different areas and got it done. Thanks so much for watching Homesteading.